best friend seduced my husband and convinced him to drain our joint savings for their new life. Watching them try to withdraw from an account I'd already emptied and replaced with monopoly money was priceless. The real money? Safely in my trust fund they never knew existed. The bank teller's face was a masterpiece of confusion as she counted out the bills for the third time. Sir, ma'am, I'm not sure what kind of joke this is, but these are monopoly bills. I watched from across the bank lobby, hidden behind a potted plant and yesterday's newspaper, as my husband Ryan and my former best friend Chloe stared at the colorful play money spread across the counter. $500,000 in meticulously wrapped monopoly money, complete with bank bands I'd ordered from a novelty store. That's impossible, Ryan's voice cracked. Check again. The account had $500,000 in it as of last week. Sir, the account currently has a balance of $1.37, the teller replied, trying to maintain her professional composure. And these are from a board game, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me explain how my devoted husband and loyal best friend ended up trying to flee to Costa Rica with a suitcase full of play money. I'm Harper Walsh, and up until 6 months ago, I thought I had a perfect life. Ryan and I had been married for 7 years, together since college. Chloe had been my best friend since we were kids. She was my maid of honor, the godmother to our daughter Emma, the person I trusted with everything. Looking back, the signs were there. The way Chloe always needed to know our financial details just in case something happened. How Ryan started working late right around the time Chloe broke up with her latest boyfriend. The sudden interest they both developed in Costa Rican real estate. I discovered their affair by accident. Ryan had left his iPad at home, and it kept pinging with messages. I went to silence it and saw the preview. Can't wait to start our new life together. Harper will never know what hit her. See, my hands shook as I opened the messages. Months of planning, detailed discussions about draining our joint savings. Chloe coaching Ryan on how to manipulate me into adding more money to the account. Screenshots of Costa Rican properties. Flight bookings for 2, departing in 3 weeks. The worst part was reading how they mocked me. She's so trusting. It's pathetic, Chloe had written. Still thinks I'm her best friend. The money's just sitting there, Ryan had replied. She never even checks the account. Believes whatever I tell her about our finances. Good thing she's too naive to realize you've been moving her inheritance into that joint account. Chloe texted back. How much is left to transfer? About $50K. I'll tell her we need it for the kitchen renovation. My inheritance. The trust fund from my grandmother that they didn't know the full extent of. They thought it was a few $100,000. They had no idea Grandma Rose had left me $2 million in a carefully structured trust that paid out in installments. Installments I'd been quietly managing through a separate financial advisor. I sat on the bedroom floor, iPad in hand, and felt my world shatter and reshape itself. But instead of confronting them immediately, I did something else. I planned. First, I visited my lawyer, not our family lawyer, but a pit bull of a divorce attorney recommended by a coworker who'd been through something similar. We documented everything, every text, every email, every financial transaction. They've been planning this for months, she confirmed. The good news is, they're sloppy. The better news is, that joint account? You can legally empty at any time. What about the monopoly money? I asked, explaining my idea. She actually laughed. Technically legal, ethically questionable, personally satisfying? Absolutely. Just make sure you document the real money's location for the divorce proceedings. Next, I visited our bank. I withdrew everything except $1.37, enough to keep the account open. The real money went into my personal account, then into the trust fund accounts they didn't know existed. Then came the fun part. I spent 2 days carefully preparing $500,000 in monopoly money. I bought it in bulk from various toy stores, driving to different towns so no one would remember the crazy lady buying out their board game supply. I sorted it, banded it, even aged some bills with coffee to make them look used. I packaged it exactly how real money would be packaged for a large withdrawal. The night before their planned escape, I made the switch at the bank. The manager, after hearing my story and seeing my lawyer's documentation, was more than happy to help. We placed the monopoly money in the safety deposit box Ryan thought contained our emergency cash fund. Then I waited. Ryan's performance over the next few days deserved an Oscar. He discovered a sudden work emergency that would require him to travel for a few weeks. He was so apologetic, so loving. He even suggested I take Emma to visit my mother while he was gone. I hate leaving you, he said, kissing my forehead, but this project could mean a huge bonus. Think of what we could do with the money, maybe finally take that European vacation you've always wanted. That sounds wonderful, honey, I replied. mentally adding his lies to my divorce evidence. Chloe was equally theatrical. She came over the night before, hugging me tight and telling me she'd miss me while I was at my mother's. "You're so lucky to have Ryan," she sighed. "A man that devoted, that successful? Keep him close, Harper. There are women out there who'd steal him in a heartbeat." "Oh, I know," I assured her. "I know exactly what kind of woman would do that." The morning of their great escape, I called in sick to work and positioned myself at the bank. I'd already alerted the manager that they'd be coming. The security cameras would capture everything, adding to my growing pile of evidence. They walked in together, barely trying to hide their excitement. Ryan wore his best suit, the one I'd bought him for our anniversary. Chloe had on new designer sunglasses, probably purchased with the credit card I'd authorized her on for emergencies. They approached the teller with the confidence of people who thought they'd already won. "I need to make a large withdrawal," Ryan announced, sliding over the paperwork. "Cash, from our safety deposit box." I watched him open the box with shaking hands, watched his face change as he saw the neatly wrapped bills. He didn't examine them closely, why would he? They looked perfect from the outside. It wasn't until the teller started counting that reality hit. She held up a pink $500 bill with Mr. Monopoly's face on it, confusion evident even from across the lobby. "Is this some kind of mistake?" Chloe's voice pitched higher. "Those should be real hundreds." "Ma'am, these are all Monopoly bills," the teller confirmed, fanning them out. "Every single one." "Is this for some kind of game? A prank video?" Ryan's face cycled through emotions like a broken slot machine. Confusion, anger, realization, panic. He grabbed his phone, probably to check the account balance, and I watched him receive the final blow, $1.37. "This can't be happening," he muttered. "The money was there. I checked last week. $500,000. That's when I decided to make my entrance. I walked over, Emma's dance recital schedule in hand, the one Ryan had forgotten about. "Of course. Ryan, what are you doing here? I thought you had that work emergency." I gasped at seeing Chloe. "Chloe, what a coincidence. Are you banking here too now?" They both froze. Ryan's mouth opened and closed like a fish. Chloe took a step back, bumping into a velvet rope. "Harper," Ryan started, "this isn't, we were just what?" I asked innocently. "Making a withdrawal? From our joint account?" I turned to the teller. "I'm so sorry about my husband. He's been under a lot of stress. Sometimes he likes to play these elaborate games." "Right, honey?" The teller looked between us, clearly sensing drama but professionally staying neutral. "Would you like me to call security?" "No need," I said brightly. "Although, Ryan, if you're done playing games, we need to talk about that kitchen renovation." I moved our savings to a more secure account. "You know, the one only I have access to? Much safer that way." Chloe found her voice. "Harper, I can explain." "Explain what?" "Why you're at the bank with my husband during his work emergency. Or why you both seem so upset about Monopoly money." I pulled out my phone. "Should I call your office, Ryan? Let them know you're feeling better? Since you're clearly not sick." The security guard had drifted closer, sensing potential trouble. Other customers were starting to stare. Ryan grabbed Chloe's arm. "We're leaving," he hissed. "With what money?" I called after them. "The play money? Or the $1.37 in the account?" They fled, leaving the Monopoly money scattered across the counter. The teller began gathering it up, shaking her head. "Ma'am," she said quietly, "would you like to file a report?" "Already done," I assured her. "My lawyer has everything she needs." The divorce was swift and brutal, for Ryan. The evidence of his affair, his financial manipulation, and his attempted theft made the judge's decision easy. He got nothing, no alimony, limited visitation with Emma, and a reputation in tatters when word spread about the Monopoly money incident. Chloe lost more than money. Our mutual friends, after learning how she'd betrayed me, cut her off completely. Her family was mortified. She'd quit her job for the Costa Rica plan, and finding new employment with her reputation proved difficult. Last I heard, she was working retail and living with her disappointed parents. The best part? During the divorce proceedings, Ryan's lawyer tried to claim I'd hidden assets by not fully disclosing my inheritance. My lawyer shut that down immediately. "Mrs. Walsh's inheritance was never marital property," she explained. "It was in a trust Mr. Walsh had no legal claim to. The only money he had access to was what Mrs. Walsh voluntarily placed in their joint account, money she had every right to withdraw. But the Monopoly money," Ryan's lawyer protested, "was placed in a safety deposit box, not the bank account itself. There's no law against storing board game currency in your own safety deposit box." Ryan tried one last desperate play. He showed up at my door 2 months after the divorce was finalized, looking haggard. Harper, please, I made a mistake. Chloe means nothing to me. It was just, I was stupid. We could try again. For Emma's sake. For Emma's sake? I laughed. You were going to abandon Emma for a beach house in Costa Rica. You were going to steal her mother's money and leave us with nothing. I would have sent for her. He protested weakly. With what money? The Monopoly money? I started closing the door. Goodbye, Ryan. Your visitation is every other weekend. Don't be late again. What about the money? He called out desperately. The real money? What did you do with it? It's invested, I told him. In Emma's future. In my future. In a life that doesn't include liars and thieves. The trust fund Grandma Rose left me has grown to $1 million now, carefully invested and managed. Emma has a college fund that will let her pursue any dream. We live in a beautiful home with a real kitchen renovation, one I paid for myself. Sometimes I drive past the bank and remember that morning, the look on their faces when they realized their perfect plan had been built on play money, the poetic justice of two people who'd played with my emotions getting paid in toy currency. Chloe sent me a letter last month, pages of apologies and explanations. I read it, then filed it with my divorce papers. Some betrayals cut too deep for forgiveness. She stole my husband, but that turned out to be a favor. She tried to steal my money, but only revealed her true worth, about as real as those Monopoly bills. Ryan still texts occasionally, usually when he's drunk. Remember when we were happy? He'll write. I do remember. I remember believing his lies, trusting his promises, thinking we were building something real. Now I know the truth. Our entire marriage was as fake as the money he tried to steal. The Monopoly money? I kept one bill, framed it, and hung it in my office. Below it, a small plaque, in the game of life, choose your partners wisely. Emma asked about it once. Why do you have toy money on your wall, Mommy? It's a reminder. I told her that not everything that looks valuable is real, and sometimes, the best investment you can make is in yourself. She nodded solemnly, then asked if we could play Monopoly. We did, and I taught her all the rules, especially the one about keeping your money safe from other players. After all, in the real world, not everyone plays fair, but if you're smart, you can make sure that when they try to pass go and collect your $200, all they get is a lesson in karma and a wallet full of play money. Game over. I win.